My boyfriend told me he's settling. I am a white woman dating a black man. We have been together for 5 years. About 2 years ago, he told me that he is not feeling seen and heard as a black man in our relationship. It was super hard to hear, but we started having more conversations around race and our experiences, how it impacts our day-to-day lives, our relationship, and how it would impact our kids once we have them. Now, we've had a lot of fights since then where he still feels the same way. Last night, I told him that a few posts on his Facebook have essentially triggered me. I explained that I'm not accusing him of anything, but was just feeling a certain way. He posted "love you" to 2 different women a few days apart. He has a history of cheating in person and online, so these things trigger me severely. I went on to explain that it's not just the posts, but that he doesn't post about me. It's not just the posts, but that I've felt a little lonely lately as he doesn't show me much affection or intentional attention. We do live together and are with each other every day, so I just want intentional time with him. He thanked me for telling him how I was feeling, and we went to bed. This morning, he asked me if I think I'm manipulative. I told him no, but he said that I am. He mentioned that he has said to me that he's felt lonely as a black man, that he's trying to give back to the kids in our neighborhood, and that it's weird that I'm attracted to him, but don't want him using his looks for anything else, posting on social media. He told me that respectfully he's settling, and if I were a black woman, things would be easier. He also said that white people have no reason to complain about anything, and unless I'm opening my mouth to accommodate him or our dogs, I shouldn't say anything. It's not the first time he's said these kinds of things. He has said awful things, to be honest, but I know he's hurting and feels disrespected, so he feels the need to disrespect back. I don't like it, but I'm trying to understand. Neither of us have any friends, just each other, and I'm so lost. I am so in love with him, and I'm doing whatever I can to make him happy. I wasn't trying to be manipulative by sharing with him, and I wasn't trying to be a typical white person as he says. My question is essentially, will he always feel like he's settling no matter what I do? Will it never be enough because I can never have the exact knowledge and experiences a black person would have? This guy is a manipulative, cheating who's using color as a weapon. It doesn't matter what his skin color is, his actions are inexcusable. He's clearly not worth anyone's time and is the root of the issues. Seriously, why stay with someone who treats you like that? Am I the jerk for telling my partner that they need to take their cat home? I live in an apartment where they allow pets, but you have to still pay a pet fee, and my renters don't know about my roommate's cat. However, his cat does not go into the windows and doesn't really do a lot. My girlfriend has a cat as well, and she will bring him over for a week at a time. Her cat does go into the windows, is commonly seen by neighbors, and also spills drinks, chews, breaks the blinds, jumps on tables and counters, including cabinets and the oven. I was worried about the charges for the broken blinds, pet fees, or even eviction and losing my security deposit. It makes me think we aren't keeping a close enough eye on him when he's over, so I suggested we either find a way to keep him out of the windowsill, keep him out of the kitchen where the windowsill is, or reduce how often he's here altogether so that we don't have to worry about him when we aren't in the apartment. I let her know I don't want to feel like I have to watch her cat all the time and that worrying about these things makes me anxious. I told her all of this and she largely went quiet, aside from originally fighting the argument to find alternatives by pointing out my roommate's cat and mentioning that she was sure other people will also have similar situations and aren't caught by renters. But when I let her know that I already felt I was lenient in letting her cat be here for a week at a time when I already told her she could only keep him here for days at a time when she originally brought him over, she went quiet and said she needed time and space to think. I love her cat, but she isn't taking responsibility for her cat's destruction when we aren't around. So I thought presenting solutions and reducing the time her cat is over was a good idea. At the end of her asking for solutions, I also told her she should take her cat home. It felt like the right thing to do, but still, I feel like I messed up. Am I the asshole? Dude, your girlfriend is incredibly irresponsible for bringing her cat to your place for weeks at a time. If all the damage her cat has done hasn't caused a fit from your roommate yet, you're seriously pushing your luck. She either needs to move into her own place where she can have her cat, or you both need to get a place together and stop imposing on other people. If you don't get your act together, you might end up without a roommate and desperate to afford rent. My partner won't consider being sterilized, they want me to do it instead. Is this fair? My partner and I just had a baby this week. This baby is our second child. I'm medically incapable of having more children. I can physically get pregnant, but I can't give birth again. We decided that this would be our last child. My doctor asked me a few weeks ago whether I wanted to be sterilized during a C-section. My husband and I discussed this, and he thought it was a good idea. I was hesitant, but for practical reasons I agreed, and we signed off on sterilization. Due to the previously mentioned medical issue, I started bleeding at 37 weeks, and my baby had to be born on an emergency basis. During an emergency C-section, they do not perform sterilization as it's done for life-saving reasons. The doctors made it clear to me afterwards that I would need to essentially triple up on contraceptive measures until I could get the surgery done, which may be a very long wait. My husband's grandmother was visiting, and she said, "Original poster has given you 2 children. She's had major surgery for you twice now. Why don't you get the sterilization surgery?" The midwife was present and spoke about how much faster it could be done for men than women, and how I'd had quite invasive surgeries. Another surgery would mean a much longer recovery time for me. My husband said there's no way he's having sterilization surgery. He didn't even want to discuss it. However, he still wanted to discuss me having the surgery. He kept saying that it's different for a man. I feel like he's not being fair, especially when I've had to be cut open twice already for our kids. I spend the pregnancies with hyperemesis gravidarum, so 9 months of dehydration caused by being unable to go 30 minutes without vomiting. I don't understand why he won't even talk about it, but I'm also worried that he doesn't want to do it because he wants to have a fallback card in his pocket in case we separate, so that he can have kids with another woman. I don't know whether I'm being inconsiderate since, technically, it is me who shouldn't get pregnant, not him. Part of me wishes that we could go through this together though. I'm really confused by this. Of course, it's not fair, but it's different for a man. A vasectomy is a procedure with a much faster recovery time than a woman's sterilization. Is he just trying to have a backup plan if the relationship fails or something? It's understandable if there's concern about relying on him for birth control. Protect yourself and make sure your needs are met. Am I the jerk for not acting more excited for my mother's 3rd marriage? In 2016, my mother's job was outsourced and he was retired, so they moved out west, and after 2 months of living there, my stepfather dropped dead of a massive heart attack. We finally get her to move back home where all her family is. She is very independent, goes to dance clubs every weekend, and since she's been back, she met a man we all call Joe in the club last year. In October, they apparently started dating, and she said both are widows, so they get it. She said very quickly they knew they wanted to be together, and by this past February they were already planning to move into his house when her lease was up this August. So she promptly started having him upgrade his appliances, repaint his home, etc. I feel like she has just barged into his life and started making changes, but she insists they're things they've decided together. Then she says she's told him if they're going to live together, they need to get married because she's not just going to be someone's live-in girlfriend. So, about a week and a half ago, Joe proposes to her spur of the moment. Now, she's trying to get married ASAP. She's changed her stance from getting married shortly after they move in to they absolutely must do it before they move in together because she reads the scripture and doesn't want to disappoint God. I keep trying to tell her to make sure she's making rational, wise decisions, but she brushes me off and says neither of us is getting any younger and insists he's told her all his secrets. But to this, I point out she said the same thing about my stepfather. Until years into their relationship, he had a health scare that prompted him to have to tell her he was actually 16 years older than he told her he was this entire time. Things she's conveniently forgotten. She always talks down about people that meet their partners and then get married quickly, but that's exactly what she's doing. She also says it's never a good idea to make big decisions when you're in that butterfly, starry-eyed phase of a relationship, but that's exactly what she's been doing. I am frustrated because she's very gullible and a hopeless romantic. I want her to be happy, but I also want her to make smart choices. Am I wrong here? You have every right to have concerns about her getting stepdad-2, especially after the whole ordeal with the previous husband lying about his age. However, she's a 63-year-old adult, and it's ultimately her life to live. It's understandable if you want to distance yourself, but sometimes it's best to just let people make their own choices. After all, who's ever excited about getting a second stepdad anyway? Am I a jerk for not waiting for my friend because they were late? I, 32-year-old male, was visiting a city where I lived before, and I had a tight plan so I could do everything I wanted. My friend, 32-year-old male, invited me to a restaurant. It was for us to catch up and for me to meet his new girlfriend, and we agreed on 7 p.m. He didn't want to make a reservation, but I did anyway because I hate waiting in lines. Timeline: 7 p.m. I am in front of the restaurant and he's not there. 7:20 p.m. I texted him telling him that I'll wait inside because they hold reservations for only 20 minutes. I enter the restaurant. I order a drink. 7:40 p.m. He answers saying that he's on the way. 7:44 p.m. I call him asking where he is, and he says that he's on the way and should arrive in 20 minutes. I am already really annoyed and I tell him that. I order another drink. At this point, there aren't tables and I can notice the waiter looking at me because I was alone using a table for 4. 8:10 p.m. He's not there yet. I am very frustrated and I decided to order a snack, something small, while waiting. The waiter asks me if I want to change to a smaller table and explains that I am waiting for friends. 8:20 p.m. I call him again and he doesn't answer. I order another drink. 8:45 p.m. He texts me saying 10 minutes. I pay the bill and I leave. 9:01 p.m. He calls me, I don't pick up and I text him saying that I left. He doesn't say anything at the moment and then 1 hour later calls me angry saying that I embarrassed him, that his girlfriend felt bad thinking I didn't wait because I didn't want to meet her, which is a total stretch to me, and we had a little bit of an argument. I asked the opinion of a common friend and he said, he should be on time because we know how you are with time, which makes me feel like I am right, but at the same time makes me feel like I am the problem here. Am I the a-hole for leaving after waiting for 1 hour and 45 minutes? TL. My friend was late for 1 hour and 45 minutes and I left the restaurant because I was annoyed. You did nothing wrong here. If someone says they're 20 minutes away and then doesn't show up or communicate for 40 minutes, it's totally reasonable to be miffed. Being 2 hours late to a dinner reservation is not just rude to the person waiting, but also to the restaurants. A realistic update on arrival time would have been the least he could do. He owes an apology for his behavior. Am I the jerk for harvesting likes on Instagram from my boyfriend's friends to prove a point? My boyfriend, 26-year-old male, and I have been together for 2 years now. It's mostly great, but he has a habit of checking out women all the time everywhere we go. I've told him it bothers me, but I mostly let it slide. 2 years in though, I decided to check his Instagram follows. He follows around 1,000 people. 500 of them are models who mostly do not follow him back. I asked him what was up and he said that he knew them all. I asked him to unfollow at the very least the ones that do not follow him back, and he agreed. A few months in, I checked again. He still followed them all. When I brought it up, he just told me to stop being insecure and that it meant nothing, it's just social media. He insisted he wouldn't mind if I did the same. I started following his male friends. They all started liking my pictures and commenting emojis like flames and stuff like that. He came to me when he realized, asking me what the hell I was doing. I told him I wasn't doing anything different than he was, that those girls could see his likes and comments as well, and that I thought it meant nothing. He started screaming at me, saying how could I do something so childish and manipulative, saying that I had humiliated him and that it was crossing the line. Also, that I made him lose friends. I'm starting to feel like maybe I did cross a line there, but I really wanted to prove my point that it was indeed that serious and that he knew that liking girls' pictures did mean something. So, am I the a-hole? You are not the jerk at all. He set himself up for this and is being a total hypocrite. The biggest issue is that it makes you feel uncomfortable, but he's not willing to make a change. This will likely only get worse with time, so don't settle. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.